and welcome to this week's colour video. This week's colour video we're going to introduce the Goethe colour triangle. So I'll send to you with this email a triangle that you can print out at home if you can, that helps, but otherwise it is just an equilateral triangle divided into 9 smaller equilateral triangles. Goethe's colour triangle, you may have heard of Goethe, the German poet, and he was also a colour theorist and came up with a whole book with a whole lot of statements about colour theory and its use by artists. It was a very influential in the early 19th century when he wrote it, and influenced a whole generation of artists, and still does influence a whole generation, or has continued to influence a whole generation. It's a pretty simple exercise, and its beginnings are with our colour wheels, like what we have already done. So the procedure to Goethe's colour triangle is much the same beginnings as if we were just dealing with a circle. So we've got a triangle, an equilateral triangle, divided into what have we got? 9 smaller triangles. So you've got a triangle in each corner, and then there are 6 triangles around through the centre in a hexagonal shape. So as I said, the beginnings are very much like a colour wheel in that we're going to paint our yellow in the top triangle, a red there in the right hand triangle, and a blue in the left hand triangle. You could follow through with the same yellow, red and blue that we did in that first colour wheel, but if you want to experiment with something else, by all means do. Today I am changing it a little bit. I'm going to use alizarin crimson instead of cad red medium, simply that I've got it out on my palette. So there's going to be cad yellow medium, alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue that I'm going to use. Once you've put in the 3 primaries like that, we're going to then mix the secondaries to the halfway point, just the same as we do with the colour wheel, and put them in this triangle, and this triangle. So it'll be yellow and red, put orange, yellow and blue, green, and red and blue, violet. So that's the first step, the primaries and the secondaries. Make sure when you're mixing your secondaries that you mix more than what you need for these triangles here, because you'll need a fair bit of these ready mixed up, ready to go. You'll see me today, I'm going to use a palette knife to mix these, because that means that I'll mix probably a lot more than what I would do if I was just using a brush. Our next stage, and this is why it was important to make large pools of our secondary colours, is that to finish off this colour wheel, we're going to mix our secondary colours together. So in the first instance, we're going to mix the orange and the green together, and you're going to follow through with exactly the same procedure in terms of putting down a line of orange and a line of green, and then taking a little of each, and you can do this with a brush or a palette knife, and mixing the two together. And paint down the sample between. It's a little bit biased towards the green. I've gone too far. I think that's it. And then paint that into the triangle that adjoins the green and the orange. Then proceed with this one here where you'll mix the orange and the violet together and paint that one in, and this one in here where you'll mix the green and the violet together and paint that one in there. So there you go, Goethe's colour triangle. What you saw me do there at the end, just here in the speeded up part, was that I took these three colours now that we have mixed and just opened them up with white. Simply that was because as I've mixed them here, I kind of thought, oh, have I got it right? I can't really see any great difference between the three of them as they are there. But you'll be able to see that when you open them up with white, there is a great difference between the three, which we'll discuss more when I see you in Zoom. good luck. As always, if you've got any questions, just shoot me an email if you get stuck. And I'll speak to you during Zoom.